that just for the fun of
Nice.
it, for the first time ever in a series, we are gonna pick 3 different teams to win.
Stick talk. Stick talk. Stick talk. Stick talk. Stick talk. Stick talk.
And
Hockey.
Yes, sir.
Welcome back, everyone. This is episode 108 of Stick Talk Hockey. As always, I'm your host, Tico. This is my co-host.
I'm yours truly.
Over there, we got our producer.
Producer Jay.
And the first round is all but wrapped up. We still have one game to play tomorrow. This will come out after the finale, the Game 7 of Winnipeg and St. Louis. However, we got our own Game 7 tonight. Colorado and Dallas just finished up.
And I missed the ending of it. I'm so very disappointed because,
It's actually devastating.
yeah, I had to go and rip out of the house real quick, and my phone just started blowing up, and I got sick to my stomach, dog.
I mean, we were just saying this before we started airing. Like, when you think of Game 7s, like for me, that one that always pops into my mind, like the third period of Game 7 against, or not against, but between San Jose and Vegas back in, was that 19?
Yeah.
Yeah. Unbelievable. And this was right there. One of the most insane third periods I've ever seen in a Game 7. Mikko Rantanen.
Man, he's justified every single penny, and God, I bet Colorado is just like, that's got to be a sickening moment as a fan, you know? Like,
I got to tell you, like, organizationally, Colorado deserved to lose that series. They deserve to have this exact moment happen to them. You trade away Mikko Rantanen, one of your number one players, like, while he's still great and everyone's still great, before you even get to the end of the contract negotiation. I know that we've been over this like a lot now, but that happens, and you kind of deserve to have this moment where that player comes back in the third period of a Game 7 and gets 4 points in one period with a hat trick to seal your fate and send you home. Wow, it's poetic.
God, is it ever? It's the storybook finish that you were just dying to see. And I mean, like, you didn't even, this is a player who's so talented. He's so worthy of the respect of being given the timeline to sign the contract on his time. There was no reason why he would leave.
Yeah.
And he already had discussed taking a team friendly.
Yeah.
And you panic. And he signs for a very affordable contract in Dallas and just causes an avalanche in the third period. It's perfect. It was perfect.
It was perfect. And the whole moment was perfect. Like, the Dallas fans, they really got it going on down there. Like, that barn is humming.
I was watching the highlights, and even on the non-goals, like anything that was remotely near the net, that building was humming.
Yeah. I mean, Jay, you were saying one of the best atmospheres in the United States of America.
I think they are the best.
The best, number one.
At the moment.
Yeah. I'd have a hard time disagreeing with that. Like, I think about, obviously, like, there's some teams that I think of when they were good, had amazing atmospheres, you know, Boston and Chicago and teams like that. But yeah, right this moment, I'm inclined to agree.
Absolutely. I won't knock that either. I mean, they got one of the loudest barns.
Yeah.
They got the Bombshells front row playing Distraction.
Indeed. You know that the Colorado Avalanche have not won a Game 7 since 2002?
Really?
Isn't that something? They've lost 7 straight Game 7s.
That's really crazy.
Nathan McKinnon and Cale Makar have never once in their careers won a Game 7.
Frauds. Confirmed frauds.
It's possible.
Throwing of flies.
I mean, craziness. And so they're going to play the winner of this St. Louis Winnipeg game tomorrow. Which that series has been phenomenal as well. We talked about that last week. It had been phenomenal. It still has been since then. Connor Hellebuck has been pulled in every game on the road so far.
He's making a strong case for that quadruple T.
He is indeed making a strong case. If only someone could have warned them.
Only someone could have seen this coming.
I feel like I feel like Mace Windu.
I thought this was more like a Moneyball situation, but sure.
Yeah, no,
Wild
I
take.
feel like I'm in The Big Short. You ever
Yeah?
seen that flick where they know the housing market's gonna crash and no one's listening?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
that's what it is. Yeah, I mean, look, it's really unfortunate. I don't know who's gonna win tomorrow. If I was making bets, I think my money'd be on St. Louis. But yeah, actually, who do you think's gonna win Game 7 tomorrow?
I had Winnipeg winning this series.
Yeah,
If there's one thing I've learned this week, in the little bit of hockey I was graced to watch, I don't know shit about the West.
yeah.
I nailed the East. I have no shame in those picks, but like,
Yeah.
I have no clue what the just happened.
Yeah.
My whole bracket in the West is dead. Like, I legitimately don't have a dog left in that race.
Yeah.
Aside from
The
Winnipeg,
Jets. Who you had in the finals?
I'm taking the Blues.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
The way that Helly's been run out of town
Mm-hmm.
every time that he steps foot in St. Louis,
Mm-hmm.
such a momentum kill.
It is. Oh yeah.
That doubt gets sewn in,
To the whole team.
and Scheifele's day to day.
Yeah.
They said it's his choice whether he plays or not, which just tells me that they really hope he does.
Exactly. Yeah. But
They wouldn't be shocked if he doesn't.
yeah.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be St. Louis. I mean, we've seen what Binnington's on.
Yeah.
He's on that Jonathan Quick streak.
And I mean, yeah. I've just decided since the Four Nations, I just don't doubt Big Game Binnington anymore. I just don't do it. Game 7, Jordan Binnington. He's winning those games. He just is.
Yep.
Jay, you're there too, I assume.
Yeah, I kind of feel like a fraud because I did say the Jets in 7.
You are a fraud, but that's okay.
Wow.
No, I'm fine. No, I'm fine.
And a week ago, I said that the home team was going to win every game this series.
You did indeed.
Wow.
That's right.
But now that we're here, like, if I really had to put $100 on who's winning tomorrow, I would put it on St. Louis.
And you do it on DraftKings, I assume.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
I don't know. Like, honestly, my official pick is St. Louis, but I feel a bit grimy about it.
Yeah, you're kind of having your cake and eating it too on that one. You
Yeah.
get to be right either way. I like it. That's the dream right there. You kind of get to do that right now.
That's okay. I felt grimy for my Devil's take, but I was like, what am I gonna say? My team's out in the first round. It
Yeah,
feels like
yeah.
shit. I don't want to do that.
Also, you call me a fraud, boy. We got the same bracket. Exact same bracket.
We had the I know that's kind of why I wanted to say it, because yeah, we both had Tampa, Colorado finals. Woof.
Oh God.
No, I know. Okay, so then moving on. I know it's hard to make a prediction on this, but do you see either of these teams beating Dallas?
Yeah. Yeah, I see the Blues doing it.
Do you see the Jets doing it?
No.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
What's-
I don't like what I've seen from them. I don't know. They just seem disorganized.
Yeah.
They aren't physical enough. They aren't scoring enough. They aren't playing good defense.
No, they're
Like,
not.
a lot of this isn't even Hellebuck's fault. He's been absolutely teed up and ripped down.
Yeah, indeed.
It's kind of just tough to watch. You
Isn't
got
that
all these
something?
injuries through the lineup.
Yeah.
It just feels so like Western New Jersey now at this point. It's like, sure, you could be great if everyone's healthy, but are they?
Yeah, I agree with that. I also just don't think that, like, if Connor Hellebuck isn't in God mode, I don't think that they're like anywhere near as good, even when healthy, as like a healthy New Jersey is. Honestly.
Yeah, I think that we're witnessing how much Hellebuck has really contributed to this
Yes.
team's presidential run.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm personally, I think I'm taking the Dallas Stars regardless of opponent in this next series. A Dallas St. Louis series would be a heater. I know, Jay, you've mentioned that. would be unbelievable. I'm really hoping that that's the series that we get. But I was saying before, but I feel like this is the most malleable I've ever been on like my picks and like how I feel about playoff teams. There was a lot of teams where I noted how kind of unconfident I was in my picks, and like I'd have to see how they were in the playoffs. And they kind of proved me wrong. Lots of teams have proved me wrong so far in these playoffs.
Same, 100%.
And Dallas is one of those teams.
Same. Yep.
Like, as much as Colorado didn't really play as well as I thought they were going to, whereas like a series that we're going to get to, Florida-Tampa, like Tampa did play as well as I thought they were going to, and they still just kind of got walked. Whoops.
It's almost exactly what I expected.
Yeah, Colorado though, they didn't fully live up to it, but Dallas played better than I thought they were going to, and they're a team that scares me now. They're dangerous.
Yeah, and they have the grind. Like the fact that so many of their top players were out.
Yeah.
Like McKinnon said it when he was interviewed at the end of the Game 7, and they were asked about next year and all that.
Sure.
We lost that game, and they were out their best forward and their best defenseman.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like,
No excuses.
what are we doing? I don't know what we're gonna do.
Yeah. Well, 100%. And I mean, yeah, for a Dallas team, if you do get Jason Robertson back soon and Miro Heiskanen back soon, I mean, woo, baby, scary times for sure. I'm really looking forward to watching whatever comes next, whether that's Winnipeg or Dallas. Simply because we don't have a winner for it yet, or like an actual conclusion on what that's going to be. I'm just going to plant my stake on Dallas and 6 on it. I'm just going to do it.
For the sake of my bracket and because I'm too prideful, I don't know. I don't know nothing about the West, but I'm not backing yet. I'm taking the Jets in 7, and then I'm taking the Jets over the Stars.
I love it.
Are we giving games on that too?
Yeah.
Okay, I got Jets in 6.
Wow.
I know, bold.
Yeah, I got Stars in 7.
Put some more spice on it, why don't you?
Actually, I got Stars in 6. Actually, that's what I said. My bad. Not 7. Jay, what you think?
Honestly, I'm so not confident in anything
Yeah.
that just for the fun of
Nice.
it, for the first time ever in a series, we are gonna pick 3 different teams to win.
Yeah,
Blues in
let's
6.
go. Blues
Oh my
6.
God. Amazing.
That's fantastic. I love it. I love it. Okay, let's move on from it here. We got a bunch of things to go, a bunch of series to go through here. Vegas and Edmonton is going to be the round 2 matchup. That's going to start Tuesday. That's going to start today, the day this podcast comes out. Super, super exciting series in my eyes. We've had some great series between them before. The last time they met, Vegas came through on that one. That was the year that they won the Stanley Cup. Yeah, I mean, we were here last week, and Jay, you were feeling so down about how you'd picked Vegas in 6, and you ended up being right on the money.
It's kind of sickening.
Chokes up.
Like, I feel like honestly, Minnesota would have been lucky to win that series.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But like, they did get that goal disallowed Game 5.
They did.
They're a shot away from going up 3-1 in Game 4.
Yeah.
It's just tough scenes all around.
It is. They really, like, I agree with you. They would have been lucky, but they really could have won that series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a bad thing either when you have such a young team. Like, there's something to be said for being able to have, like I know it's a no excuses league, and, I'll get ripped for this take, but, like, when you're building morale on a young team, sometimes it's good to have an excuse or two. That's not just, you suck, you're not good enough.
Sure.
Because you can go, yeah, those things didn't go our way and we need to get better so that when they don't go our way, we still win.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But having just something to distract a little bit, to lean off of, so you don't feel like garbage for the rest of the summer.
Yeah.
Very important.
It's funny because you said they were one shot away from what was that, Jay? From
Going up 3-1.
Yeah. And it's funny because I feel like Minnesota fans don't feel anywhere near as bad as the LA Kings fans do, who were 20 minutes from being up 3-0 in that series against Edmonton, and then You talked about it last week, Trill. You called it. The challenge changed the whole series.
The floodgates opened.
And Edmonton didn't lose another game.
No, they didn't. And the Kings never looked the same after, did they?
No, they didn't. If you're an LA Kings fan, like, for real, do you feel worse than Colorado fans do right now? You might.
You probably do, actually, because that was like a really, really, really bad turn from as soon as that challenge happened straight through.
Like,
They
we are
looked
witnessing,
snake-bitten.
like, it's crazy to be in the playoffs in the first round and witnessing absolutely, like, Hiroshima levels of devastation for fan bases, for two fan bases, and neither are the Leafs.
Which is
Ain't that something?
quite shocking. And Ben, you're welcome. Got a little letter today from Ben. He says,
We did.
"Thank you for not forsaking the Leafs, especially me."
Yeah.
Really appreciates my redaction on that take. So
Yeah, and you know what? It worked. It worked. Maybe Ben was right. And thankfully, Ben wants us to keep that up by not picking the Leafs against Florida. Ben, you don't have to worry about that one.
we want Florida.
Oh, baby, I remember that one.
Yeah.
We'll get
do
there.
ya?
So yeah, Edmonton pulls it off. Stunning stuff. The Calvin Pickard becomes the hero. Give me a break. I've realized I'm like really in some hater hours.
I was waiting for this. That's why I'm not saying anything. I'm gonna just let you go.
I've really been in my hater era this year, like much more than I think I have been in the past. Like there's a lot of teams that I'm just like really, really sour on, and it starts with the Carolina Hurricanes.
Same.
It then moves to at this point the Winnipeg Jets.
Weird, but okay.
And like I found myself really, really cheering for the Los Angeles Kings. Like I know I had picked them, so maybe there's a bit of just like ego involved in that. But like I found myself like watching these games with my fiance, who's an Oilers fan, and like seeing the Kings score and being like, "Let's go!" And I was like, "Oh no, what have I done?" And now this goddamn team just drives me absolutely insane. They're just out of their minds. They're Let me put it this way. The best thing about this entire playoffs is that the Edmonton Oilers will once again be duped into thinking that their goaltending is fine.
Yeah, you know what? They're going to stick with those two guys again.
They are.
If anything, they'll probably trade Skinner. Just off of like playoff trauma now.
They're just yeah.
Knee-jerk reaction, fire him out. He'll go and post like a 9-10 season somewhere else. Lead a team to a
No.
a playoff berth.
Mm-mm. Stuart Skinner sucks. He sucks. So does Calvin Pickard.
Yeah, I don't know, but somehow they picked up the win, so explain that, right?
But like any good goalie can pick up the wins for a short period of time. Not any goalie, but any goalie that has played NHL games. Most AHL goalies can give you some good NHL performances. Just not frequently enough to win you a Stanley Cup. Right? Artur Shilovs, the hero of Vancouver, posted like an 8-10 save percentage this year.
Yeah.
AHL goaltender.
Yeah.
Had an amazing couple games.
Akira Schmid, New Jersey Devils,
Hello.
22-23. Got a semi-starting role and posted an 870. Got punted out in the deadline, like, yeesh.
Yeah. It just bothers me. And like, it just bothers me that they keep getting away with it. What I will give the Oilers is that having them in the playoffs is good. Like, in all seriousness, probably the most fun series to watch was that LA Edmonton series. It's so cardiac arresty. Like, it's just because the defense is so bad, the offense is so good. You have Connor McDavid like lighting it up in the playoffs. Is there anything more you want to see? Like, I
Corey
love
Perry.
that they're in the playoffs.
Corey Perry is what I want to see more of in the playoffs.
tell you, Luke Gazdic. Do you know who that guy is? Yeah.
No, go on.
Do you know who Luke Gazdic is?
Isn't that the panelist?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Curly hair guy.
Yeah, Jay, you know Luke Gazdic?
Yeah.
What a bum. This guy, okay, rides the frickin' Oilers so hard. And I tend not to care too much about, like, panelists being somewhat homers and commentators as a whole. Like, people talk about the Leafs doing it. I don't think the Leafs are that bad for it, in all seriousness. Jets aren't that bad for it. You expect some of it, right? With local commentators and panelists and whatever, you expect there to be some homerism, and it doesn't bother me. But the Oilers ones drive me crazy. And, like, Luke Gazdic's on the panel the other night talking about Corey Perry. There's only one Corey Perry. There's no one else in the league that's ever been a Corey Perry. And it's like, shut up.
What do you mean?
And I like Corey Perry, but, like,
I really rock with Corey Perry. Don't get me wrong.
me too. I do as well. I genuinely do.
Like, he's a special between the plays player.
Yeah, for sure.
He's the player's player, especially when it comes to playoff pushes.
Yeah.
But no. No.
But, like, you know what I mean? I don't know. And even it's the home commentators that are just, like, so intense about only ever saying great things about the Oilers. And maybe I'm spoiled as a Canucks fan because, like we got our guy John Shorthouse, and he knows how bad it is for Canucks fans, and he's not afraid to say the Canucks suck right now.
Sometimes it's a little cathartic. You
It
need
is.
your announcers to be like, well, this is just bad.
And these guys are just out of their damn minds. Anyways, Edmonton, I have a feeling, is going to the finals if they keep playing the way they did in those last 4 games.
You know what? If Edmonton makes it to the finals,
Yeah.
I will cheer for them. I will put that on the line.
I might too this time. I probably will, because you know what matters to me more than my care about how I feel about the organization is my love for a story.
Same.
Yeah.
And I just immediately have flashbacks to dig in right now.
Right now.
Yeah, like, and then the after.
Yeah.
Just the silence in the room. And then get those cameras out of here.
Particularly if it goes the way I'm kind of seeing, which is them playing in the actual rematch to Florida.
I have Florida still in the finals, and I'm
Yeah.
standing by it.
Yeah.
Like, we'll get to that in a little bit.
We should jump over to the East here.
What's our takes on the?
Let's get some picks in. Jay, you can lead us off here. How are you feeling about Vegas versus Edmonton?
I haven't been high on either of these teams at all this year.
Mhm.
I'm gonna continue to hate on the Oilers,
My man.
and Vegas is gonna win this series in 6.
I like it. Why do you think that?
I feel like I'm gonna buy in to the fake Vegas aura.
Buy in and calls it fake in the same sentence. I love that.
I am gonna cross my fingers and hope that they close out games
Yeah.
much better
Yeah.
than the Kings did. I'm a bit worried about Aiden Hill.
Yeah.
Tell you the truth. But I just think, like, we're talking another 6 games of Calvin Pickard.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just can't hold up.
And I mean, Vegas has shown they know how to beat this Oilers team. Like, I really think that, like, I said that I texted you this, but, like, I really feel like this iteration of the Edmonton Oilers is like the last 3 seasons, right? This kind of, like, Skinner, Evander Kane, McDavid, Bouchard
Perry.
Oilers. And the only people who have thwarted Connor McDavid in that time have been Alexander Barkov,
Mm-hmm.
Jack Eichel.
That was, yeah.
Is there one more?
I mean, not
And
really.
Nathan McKinnon. But Nathan McKinnon doesn't really count. McDavid was hurt in that series. Yeah. I'm gonna go out on a limb here. I'm very worried about Aiden Hill, because even if he is better than he was in the last series, like, Darcy Kemper was unbelievable in the LA series.
Yeah, he was. He
He was
played
out of his
sensational.
mind.
I mean, he did not get help.
No, he didn't get help. And Vegas, I think, will give Hill a little more help. But I'm worried about the speed that they have on the back end, especially when they're facing a fast Oilers group, even outside of Connor McDavid. I'm worried about. I think I'm worried about those things more than I'm worried about Calvin Pickard for six more games. Third round, we'll talk. I think I'm going to take the Oilers in 6.
Valid. I agree with the speed aspect, but my take on that is that, and it's almost entirely what I'm going to bank on, LA was so close
Mhm.
to pulling it off
Yeah, they were.
and to locking them down.
Mm-hmm.
And Vegas is just a little quicker than LA. Just a little more physical.
Sure.
They're just a little bit more everything.
Sure.
And for that, I think they're capable of taking down this Oilers team. I have Vegas in 7.
Nice.
And Jack Eichel, I think, he's going to be special, whether he's been hurt at the end of the season or not. He's going to find a way to play, and he's going to find a way to make a huge difference, whether that's just shutting down McDavid or more.
See, the thing is can the Oilers consistently throw their fastball? Because when they are throwing everything at you, there is simply not a team in the NHL that can stop them. But the problem is can they do that all the time? And I don't know that they can. And I think Vegas will be able to do a good job of breaking that up.
100%. And
Yeah.
you know, we don't really talk about Vegas as a super physical team, but they are mean as shit in the
Yeah.
playoffs,
Oh,
and
yeah.
they send you home with some serious bruises.
Oh yeah.
I just don't see if Edmonton picks up an injury the way that I think they will.
Yeah.
I think that's another just good night Irene moment.
Yeah, fair enough. Let's get over to the East now. Carolina and Washington. The two series with the least drama, right? I mean, we already talked about it, last week. I'm very sorry. I know. Carolina, they ex-nay the Devils in 5. Washington Capitals ex-nay the Habs in 5. Tough scenes all around. Is there anything you're really watching for in this series? Because this is the one I'm least excited for, in all honesty.
Yeah, this one is gonna be so goddamn boring. Like, I don't really know how else to put it other than these two teams play such a similar style of hockey, such a similar brand. I
Mhm.
think the biggest takeaway is probably going to be what happens in goaltending. is
Sure. Yeah.
If Kochetkov is able to actually lock in and close the door.
Yeah, we'll see.
I mean, Anderson's been on and off with injury.
Yep.
So it's kind of the same concerns I had going into the last round.
Yep.
And in our playoff previews. And my other concern is just that Washington needs to be more methodical. They need
Yes.
to get their heads out of their asses. You're all 35 or 32 or damn near 40, and you're over here bullying a bunch of 20-year-olds and playing with your food before you eat it. It's childish. It's pathetic. Go about your business.
Yeah.
Score your goals, because that's the team you brought. It was a goal-scoring team. You didn't win this many games by bullying teams all season.
I don't think I agree with that. I think that Washington is a heavy team, and they've used that to their advantage all year in that way, and playing the mind games, throwing their bodies around. I think that's part of their identity at this point.
I think they're a very heavy team, and they definitely are very heavy on the forecheck. They'll take it to you.
Yeah.
But you just don't need to be getting into all of the in-between stuff. None the way they have.
Yeah.
You're the better team. You don't need to be giving everyone corkboard material 24/7. Like,
It's possible. I think it's one of the only edges that they have on Carolina in this series, in all seriousness. I think, Carolina is going to have a real maturity to them. And you got to hope that OV can kind of imprint this on the rest of the group, because there's some guys here that haven't played a lot of deep playoff runs, right? Like, even your Stroms and your Chykrins and your
Fehervardys
and Ryan Leonard and all of these guys. I do wonder if they're going to look like the inexperienced team here. So I do think one of the few edges that they actually have on Carolina is they're going to be able to push them around a little bit and try to get in their heads.
Definitely. And I think that the forecheck game will make a huge difference. I just don't want to see a bunch of in-between whistle shenanigans because, quite
Yeah.
frankly, I think that Carolina's kind of better at it.
You
They
think
just
so?
They have some, like, not necessarily bigger guys, but just some real, true, salt-of-the-earth shit heels.
Yeah, but they
Just-
don't have a Tom Wilson.
Just the most stinky poo-poo eater aura mentality guys
Yeah.
you could dig up. That's Carolina. They smell of caca and wee whiz.
Yeah. Who you got in this series, Joe?
I'm gonna take Washington in 6.
Jay?
I think that y'all are tripping. I think this series is gonna be gas. Out of all these series, this is the only series with like some real hatred. Like I think it's gonna be fireworks every game.
Okay.
And these crowds are gonna be electric.
The crowds will be electric. I agree with that.
I'm actually quite excited for this series.
Okay, you're kind of amping me up now. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm feeling it.
Like I'm telling you, there's gonna be brawls.
Okay.
Cause y'all remember that Chatfield
Yep.
shit
Jalen Chatfield.
month ago, whatever.
Yep. We
Oh,
talked about it.
did he do that leg sweep against?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my
Capitals.
god.
Yeah. I actually forgot about that.
Because
too.
that was what I was thinking of when I was thinking like true salt of the earth shit heels was Jalen Chatfield. That was like number 1 on the list.
Maybe. Yeah.
I-
like Jalen Chatfield.
I think this is really a coin flip series, though.
Yeah.
I got no real deep insight on it. In my original bracket, I had the Hurricanes, so I'm gonna stick with them. Canes in 7.
Okay.
Ugh.
I'm gonna try and go for a different one here than y'all because I feel the same way. I had the Canes in my bracket.
No.
Eh?
You had the Caps. That was our only difference in the entire bracket. That both of our brackets, you had the Caps
Over the Canes.
and I had the Canes.
I think if I had to put $100 on it the way you said it, Jay, I think my money would be on the Canes. But I also think this is a coin flip, and I'd much rather see the Washington Capitals in the 3rd round, so I'm going to take the Capitals in 7.
I'd put 100 on the Caps.
I love it.
I'm riding strong on those because I've not missed on my East takes.
Yeah, factual.
Don't ever ask me to put $100 on the West though. I don't know. I don't know.
So then let's stay in the East. Stay in your comfort zone here.
Absolutely.
And move on to the team that can only be described as the team that didn't blow it. And it's the Toronto Maple Leafs.
It's just wow.
They
Inspirational. Motivational.
The team that didn't blow it. They didn't go to Game 7 and lose. The Toronto Maple Leafs beat the Ottawa Senators and move on to face the Florida Panthers. Now, Florida Panthers, they also get by the Tampa Bay Lightning. Oh, baby. I mean, first of all, this series is going to be a heater.
Yeah. No. Without a doubt.
Like, this is the one I think I'm most actually they're going to be great. The Toronto Maple Leafs finally get a season where they don't have to play the Boston Bruins in the 1st round. And they're going to get to the 2nd and meet Brad Marchand anyway.
That's so tough.
Isn't that poetic?
It really is something. Boogeyman.
Now, this one, I think, as much as this series could be a heater, I'm really predicting a bit of a landslide. I mentioned this a bit earlier, but Toronto, or actually leaving Toronto aside, Florida.
Yes.
I did not think or know that Florida was going to be able to turn it on the way that they did, but I really thought Tampa played a good series.
It wasn't a bad series, but they just looked outclassed in every aspect.
Every single aspect. I think Tampa, I wouldn't feel weird about calling them like one of the 5 best teams I've watched so far in the playoffs, and they got walked by Florida. They won in 5 games.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
baby.
mean, 2 of them were pretty close.
They were. And you flip that with Toronto, who had multiple overtime wins and an almost collapse against the Ottawa Senators.
Yeah.
Florida in 5. Florida in 4. Give me Florida in 4.
Wow. Wow. Ben, you're welcome.
Yeah. Ben, you're welcome. Give me Florida in 4.
You know, I'm almost on exactly the same wave here. I don't disagree with anything you're saying, but I'm going to just elaborate a little bit.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a spin on my last point with Washington.
Sure.
And I really think that, like, as much as I was impressed and proud of Toronto going about their business and just doing what they do best, they got to find some shit. They do gotta
find some bullshit.
They gotta get angry. They gotta
Yeah.
just like lock themselves in a room for like a day straight and
Yeah.
just watch all of the game tape
Yes.
from when they played the Panthers last.
Yes.
They gotta like just listen to the "We Want Florida" chants in the background while they hit the weight rooms. They gotta find a way to just be like the meanest, most insufferable group of dudes you've ever seen.
Yeah.
Because if they don't, there's no way. There's no shot in hell that they are getting past the Cats. I got them in 5.
Indeed. Jonesy, are you gonna make Ben a happy man today?
I was just thinking, like, imagine if I just like picked the Leafs. I will be coming through for Ben. I will be taking. I'll take Florida in 6.
All right.
As much as people kind of talk down on the Senators are a pretty elite defensive team.
Indeed.
So I actually do expect the Stars to play like stars in this series.
Yep.
Like I don't think going from Ottawa to Florida, just in terms of like defensively, is like much of a step up.
Like a huge step, yeah.
Yeah, but like I do kind of worry about Stolarz.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wonder if Wool plays at all in this series.
Yeah, I'll be keeping an eye out for that for sure.
Like I don't worry about Stolarz because of how he played, but just like as a guy that has never really been a starter.
Yeah. The deeper you get into a playoff run, the more you kind of worry about that.
Yeah. I couldn't actually pick Toronto aside from just like vibes.
Factual.
Like, I can't justify anything.
No. Cats and 6, you said?
Indeed.
I love it. I love it.
A little
I'm
bit of
so
variety.
amped.
There you go, Ben.
Did we have any of the same picks this time around? Not one.
No.
I love to see it. I just adore that we have 3 different teams winning one playoff
That's
series.
gonna be nuts.
That's so great. Okay.
God bless the pre-record.
Indeed.
I actually wanted to add on to Jay's point about the Sens too. Like,
Yeah.
they have a lot of young stars that just are kind of slept on right now.
Agreed.
Like, it was kind of different, you know.
It was. I really do think though that Ottawa is a step down from Florida right now.
100%. They are a step down, but
And particularly because it seems as though Brady Tkachuk was hurt.
yeah,
That's
and
a big one.
And I mean, Ottawa looks like they have a lot of the same problems New Jersey has, which is they have
Sure.
a lot of undersized forwards.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, Toronto wasn't particularly playing with their food, but the only people that they were really messing with were the dudes that are actually pretty small.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't impress me to watch, 10 guys go after Ridley Gregg for
Yeah.
6
Yeah, no
games. It's
doubt.
like, okay.
You know what I want to give a shout out to real quick before we move on as well? The best forward for Ottawa in that series was 37-year-old Claude Giroux. And shout out to Claude Giroux. I know we were talking a little bit ago about our top 10 like favorite players of all time.
Yep.
And I had Claude Giroux on there. I love Claude Giroux. One of my favorite flyer of all time. And to see him out there after like I feel like no one ever like talks about the guy. I know he's kind of there, like Patrick Kane, the old guy that's there for the vibes and all that. But like he was for real, I think the best forward they had in that series. And at 37 years old, that's just unreal to see.
No, he's been playing great. I mean, even if Ottawa tomorrow decided they didn't want him,
Yeah.
if he decided he wanted to play another year, there'd be teams lining up.
Yeah, 100%.
The guy's got skill, he's got vision, and I think it is kind of funny that no matter how good he played throughout his whole career, he was always just kind of like unmentioned. Like he
Always.
just flew under the radar
Always.
entirely.
Yeah. It's
Kinda
very
weird.
interesting. Yeah. Okay, so a couple of things here on the docket, a couple notes before we get out of here.
Housekeeping.
Marc-Andre Fleury, what a legend.
What a career.
What a career. He hangs him up. Obviously Minnesota gets knocked out of the playoffs. That's the end for him. And finishes with 3 Stanley Cups, Vezina Trophy, 3rd all-time in games played for regular season plus the playoffs, 2nd all-time in regular season wins, 4th all-time in playoff wins. I mean, a spectacular career. He's been one of those goalies that I feel like I've been watching since I was a literal child.
Number 1 in practical jokes.
Number 1 in practical jokes, indeed. Yeah, just special. Is he a top 10 goalie of all time?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, well, I think that when we have these conversations now, it's really essential to like actually draw the barrier of like salary cap era to not.
I agree.
So like salary cap era, yeah, it's
Easy.
hard. Easy. It's hard not to
Mhm.
like even have an argument otherwise. So
Especially with the hardware. And then like just like for me, you know, I've talked a lot about how the difference we were just talking about it 30 minutes ago. The difference between like an AHL goalie and an NHL goalie isn't about can you have a good game, it's can you have them often. And so when you get to like 2nd all time in wins, like that's not just regular starter stuff, that's Hall of Famer stuff, right? And
3rd all time in games played. Period. Like you have to
It's
have
special.
sustained excellence to hit that number.
like that number to me, like 3rd all time in games played, 2nd all time in wins is really like that stuff matters to me in a top 5, top 10 debate. The longevity of a starting goaltender really, really matters to me in that debate. A lot of people like I've been kind of tossing that around this week to some people. And people said, well, he played on those Penguins teams and then he went to Vegas. Like, of course he has a lot of wins. And it's like,
Okay.
okay, yeah, okay.
Sure. But that all that tells me is that these high caliber teams trusted him
Yes, exactly.
most.
Exactly.
to put in the pipes when they needed the wins the most. Good.
Jonesy, would you say Marc-Andre Fleury is your favorite goalie of all time?
No.
Wow.
No.
Who?
That actually just shocked me.
Yeah, what?
Who's your favorite goalie ever?
Like, this might sound shocking, but it is Matt Murray.
What the
What is wrong with you?
No, like like be for reals right now.
Are you trolling for the pod right now?
Like,
This is definitely click farming.
Fleury's kind of like, I feel like Fleury kind of blew multiple cups for Pittsburgh.
I'm gonna have a goddamn stroke.
Interesting.
Like, Matt Murray
Elaborate.
saved the fucking day. Without Matt Murray, Crosby might have 1 cup.
Crosby might have 1 Stanley Cup, if not for Matt Murray. Yeah,
Matt Murray, like, I will never forget, like, just how fucking cold that guy was. Like, there was not a goalie that I was more confident in with my life.
I think he was lucky.
I mean, I don't even, like, seeing how his
That's
career played
so
out.
funny.
No, real deal. You telling me right now that Matt Murray is your favorite goaltender of all time is maybe the most shocking thing I've ever heard out of your mouth. In all seriousness, and now that as you're explaining it, I do understand it.
Like,
If Corey Schneider had led the Canucks to a cup, I might have him above Luongo. You know what I mean?
I get it, but
So
I
I
don't.
get that.
I don't get it. I don't.
That's crazy though.
I don't. I just don't get it. I can't.
Do you have any nice things to say about Fleury on his retirement day?
This is like when the gender reveal starts the forest fire.
Yeah. Well, ain't that something? Shout out to Fleury, anyways.
Jay yet to find a nice thing to say. He's like the best goalie in your franchise's history, and you're still just struggling.
I honestly, like, as a real youngin', I was just like, I liked Fleury because his nickname was Flower,
Yeah,
and like I don't know why,
it's a great nickname.
Flower Power.
Flower power, indeed.
But like as I get older, like I don't know, man. Like I actually,
What is happening right now?
I'm like
There's
getting.
no shot that our designated Penguins fan in studio is gonna sit in here and be like, "Yeah, I don't know about that Fleury guy on his retirement."
like for the last like 5 years,
Yeah.
people are always like, "Oh man, we gotta see Fleury back."
Yeah.
And I actually just don't really care that we haven't seen it.
You know what? I remember that last year when I talked about it around the deadline, like send Fleury back to Pittsburgh, get the band back together. And I do remember you just being like, yeah, I don't care that much.
Like that part makes sense though. You're just moving forward. You're rebuilding.
Sure,
Forget it. Why are we
sure.
bringing the band back together? It's already fallen apart. It's fine. But that has to like. I don't think you've said something that's genuinely made me more upset. Like I'm actually just so fucking mad right now.
Oh, this is a great moment. I'm very thankful I'm here to witness this.
I'm so choked with you. Like Matt Murray.
Yeah.
Matt Murray, the
That's my guy.
AHL starter, the guy that got replaced by Stolarz and Wall.
Let me
Murray.
let me speak on Fleury real quick though.
Yeah.
He does deserve some credit for real for that second cup
Yes.
in 2017
Yeah.
because he stole that series against the Capitals
Yep.
and even in the first round. Like he kind of gets like people kind of talk on him getting carried for 2 of his cups, but
Indeed.
he did earn that 2017.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I also like wholeheartedly feel like if he had to play the entire run, they probably would have lost to Ottawa. Like that's just what Fleury has like did for years.
Okay. Well, besides winning a Stanley Cup, yeah.
Yeah.
And a Vezina.
And a gold medal. I mean, he didn't play.
It's kind of crazy, but right on.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay, well, Penguins legend, I guess.
That's crazy.
Penguins not so legend, supposedly.
Hall of Sort of Fame.
Vegas legend. Vegas Golden Knights legend, Marc-Andre Fleury.
You don't get his jersey retirement anymore. Forget about that. We're gonna give it to Vegas.
Yeah, Trill, I'm gonna need you to post on the Instagram that picture that Alan Walsh posted of Fleury getting stabbed in the back. That's gonna have to be in the cover art, I think, for this video.
Gonna put Jay's face in there too.
All right, let's get off of Fleury here. Happy for you, dude.
Yeah, right on.
Can we talk a little bit about the Canucks thing?
Oh God. How much time do we have?
Those goddamn Canucks. Rick Tocchet announces he will be parting ways with the Vancouver Canucks. Okay. Great. Cool. Love to see it. They really tried their best. And you know what? The word is out there that they really did put their best foot forward. And it wasn't a financial decision. They offered him somewhere. They offered him a 5-year deal. And it looks like in the ballpark of $5 million a year, $25 million would have made him one of the highest paid coaches in the NHL.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty money.
And brother said, nah, I think I'm good. So that's awesome. Love to see that. Shout out to you, Rick. Shout out to Jim Rutherford.
I mean, look, all this affirms to me is that, like, because coaching is so essential to personnel choice, this just tells me that he had zero control. He was told that he was going to have some input, he was going to have some control over the way that the team went, and the further that things went with the owners, the more he realized this is why everyone else left or had such a terrible experience.
So I will say, it does depend a little bit here because the rumor now I'm starting to see come out is that he's going back to TV. So, and I will say, if it makes it a little bit easier on me if he did decide he doesn't want to coach anymore. Like that's different than walking to Philly. You know what I mean? Like being like, I don't like this team. I don't like this organization. I'm going to go to a different one is a little different than being like, I don't want to be on the road anymore. I want to spend time with my family. That's a little bit different.
But like, how does it feel to know that your team was the one to break the soul of one of the most hard-nosed coaches in the entire league? Like you guys like chewed that guy through the blender so bad that he was like, you know what? Maybe
I mean, he already did it once after Arizona went to TV.
Maybe I'm gonna go and be a dad.
Yeah, he already did it once though. He left Arizona and went and just did TV.
Oh, I thought you meant be a dad, and I was like, yeah, JT Miller was a bit of a child. Eh?
Yeah. No, I will say, there's a lot of talk in the online world, but I'm tuning that out for this moment because I think there's a bit of a disconnect. People think about Canucks fans online and they think about the lunatics on Twitter and all of that. But when you talk to real people, and I talk to a lot of Canucks fans all the time, I would say that I probably have like 10 interactions to conversations about the Canucks at my workplace with different people every single day.
Yep.
I don't know that I've ever, even through the Boudreau disaster, the Travis Green disaster, the deep years, the Radim Verbata years, and Louis Eriksson years, I don't know that I've ever seen regular fans as scared about what the future is for the Vancouver Canucks as they are right now. Because I think that Jamie Dodd noted that it felt like training wheels for Quinn Hughes, right? Like, here's a guy that the organization loved. They said, you are our guy. We will give you whatever you want. We will pay you whatever you want. How do we make this happen? And they couldn't get it done.
The one thing that would get it done, the coach.
No, that's what they did for Rick Tocchet. Like, they had their guy. Rick Tocchet was their guy.
Yes.
They wanted Rick Tocchet in town.
I thought we were talking about Quinn Hughes.
We are.
Who like in turn wanted talk.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
We like this is what I mean. This is how it relates to Quinn Hughes.
Ah, yes. Okay.
Because they had their guy.
Mm-hmm.
They said, we want you here. You are our guy. We will give you all of the money. And they could not get it done.
Yeah.
So in 2 years, it feels like that's what's going to happen with Quinn.
I mean, there's not much keeping him there now if, like, the happiest he was playing under Tocchet and Tocchet just walked.
He said it was his favorite coach he'd ever play for. Ever.
That's crazy.
And it's just disaster after disaster. Once again, with this goddamn organization. The Tom Willander thing, I don't know if we've talked about it on this podcast or not yet, but stupid Tom Willander, the best prospect you have in your system, unsigned, finishes his college career, was supposed to. It's just easy. It was one of those things where, like, the Canucks had so much work that needs to be done this offseason. They need to fix that roster in such a significant way if you want to keep Quinn Hughes. They needed the easy wins of just, like, get Tom Willander to Vancouver, re-sign your coach. Easy.
Yep.
And both of those have turned into disasters now. And so it's, how can you have any faith? How can you have any faith? Over $200K in signing bonuses. The organization wouldn't give it to him. And Schedule A bonuses. You only hit those bonuses if you're like win the Calder and stuff. Like, you want your players to be hitting those bonuses. Well. That was what the argument was about. He didn't get signed. They couldn't sign him. His agent saying he might go back to college. Horrific.
That's so dumb.
They don't have a practice facility. Now Calgary's practice facility is opening up. The Vancouver Canucks will be the only team in the National Hockey League without a practice facility. Noted as a big reason for Rick Tocchet's departure as well.
That's crazy.
No, spoiler alert, that will also be noted as a big reason for Quinn Hughes' departure.
Fair enough. What do you mean?
Are you aware that they promised Chris Tanev, hey buddy, you signed this contract, we will have a practice facility for you soon. That was in 2010.
Excuse me?
Correct.
Rip up my contract. I'm going home. Trade me.
So thankfully, this coincides with Nick Kypreos this week saying that there's some reports out there that the Canucks may be looking to sell off the team.
Good.
Hallelujah! If that's real, I'll actually be so happy. Corroborated by multiple Vancouver sources, which I'm very thankful for because Nick Kypreos kind of talks out of his ass. Doesn't look like anything's like imminent or like they are selling the team or anything like that. But there's been kind of some like rumors over the last few years because it's owned by like the whole family. So like it seems to be one of those things where like the dad's getting older. So like maybe you sell the team so that all the kids can get money for it rather than just inheriting the team and then do you sell it? Does one kid get it? You know, kind of like with you know how inheritances are, you know.
Well, and it's harder to sell a team when you know that like half of the estate doesn't want the team because
Totally.
then you're going to be taken as a sucker for value.
Totally.
And I've seen it happen lots of times where there's infighting over who gets what or what share of this and who
Sure.
put what into the team and this and that. And it's super, super common for rich dudes to just have in their fine print, sell all the businesses,
Yeah.
liquidate the estate.
Yep.
Everyone just gets a 25% share. If there's 4 kids, you get 25 or
Mhm.
whatever. Like, that's just
Yeah.
how it goes.
Yeah.
Because it's so difficult to sell off the assets and
Yes.
move around all of the like titles between companies.
For sure. Yeah.
Especially when you come to like billionaires who have like
I mean,
what 7 or 8 different shell companies.
the Aquilini's are even more diversified than that. It's massive for them.
And I'm sure that his kids have their own interests. Like, what if they don't want to run a hockey team? What if they could use that capital?
currently they do. Like currently, Francesco, the oldest son, is the one who runs the team.
Right.
So then that's where like inheritance thing becomes difficult because then you have this one kid who has been running it. Does he get more of the team? You know what I mean? Like, so I think before the father passes away, they're going to look at selling the team.
I heard that he was a little bit fed up with like running the team as well, just because of the drama and stuff
Well,
surrounding it.
Apparently,
all the time.
it's the other brothers
oh,
who are fed
okay.
up with what Francesco is like, why it's such a circus all the time because their names, they're not running it, but they're attached to it, right?
And then you have people asking you, "Hey, what's going on
Why
over there?"
is it
And
a
it's like,
circus
I don't
over there
know.
all the time? Yeah.
Yeah.
So apparently it's them that are not happy about what's going on, which I don't blame them for.
Yeah, that's valid. Makes sense.
You know what? Actually, none of us are happy about it.
And fair. You know what? You are entirely valid in your feelings of that.
It's just what, like, I had a conversation with this fella who's I want to say he's probably about 55, and like the exasperation in his voice, like I don't know that I'd heard it before. Like it was like real like fear, like, you know, because he's asked me about talking. I'm like, yeah, and then he's asked me about Hughes, and I'm like, look, I've already accepted, man. I think Quinn Hughes is gone, and I don't even think that's a huge necessarily Canucks fault per se. Like I think Brady's gonna leave Ottawa as well, and there's nothing they can do about that either. But like I was just like, I think it's over. I really think it's over. And he was like, dude, I've watched the Canucks for 50 years. I don't know if I can wait another 15 years for this team to be good again. What am I gonna do? And I was like, yeah, you might be f***ed, pal.
Yeah. That's
we might all just be f***ed.
That's such a tough boat to be in.
Yeah.
Like, I really am blessed that my team's gone through a full ass rebuild and come out the other side before I hit even 30.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
In contrast to that, it makes me feel very grateful.
Scary.
I'm still like hung up on the not having a practice facility. I'm
Yeah.
kind of befuddled on that because like at first I'm like, well, you know, real estate in Vancouver and this and that, but like there's so much available empty bullshit unused farmland when you drive in from the ferry all the way through to like there's no excuse for not having something in the plans.
There's legitimately zero excuse for it, especially when, look, Vancouver's market is very similar to Seattle's. They just finished theirs. What's the excuse?
Yeah,
New York has one. What's the excuse? Chicago has one.
New Jersey has one.
What's the excuse?
It's
There is none.
crazy.
There is none.
Yeah, I genuinely don't understand that. That's crazy to me. And
like the Pedersen thing is another part of it. They wanted Pedersen to stay in Vancouver this summer to train, and then
where
exactly? So
wait, you're just gonna have him run up grouse every night?
yeah, and practice at 8 rinks in front of all the freaking fans all the time? Like, no. He stayed for a couple weeks and he went back to Sweden, and now people on the internet are like, well, there he goes back to Sweden again. It's like, what is he gonna do in Vancouver? They don't have a facility for him.
Yeah, there's no point. And also, like, he probably wants to go back to spend time with his family.
Well, yeah, there's that too.
And like, I don't know, maybe he has a trainer over there that he really like rocks with, but they have like a job with a different team that they're on contract for a few more years. Like, there's dudes that he wants to go and link up with and build with.
It's insane.
Sounds like
insane.
he's a Minecraft streamer at this point.
So I don't know anyways, finishing up, I don't know what the Canucks are going to do about their coaching situation. I personally hope that they just promote Manny Malhotra.
I just hope they cut Rutherford's microphone.
Please.
Just like lock him out of the office for
Shut
the
the
rest of the summer. Just
shut up, dude. Just stop talking.
I just want to just go over there and unplug his mic and just
I
be like, you
know.
don't need to do this.
Dude,
Just
you senile old man. Just stop.
Yeah,
I know.
He's just answering everything at this point. It's like
Yes,
you know you don't have to
yeah, I
answer every
know,
question you're
I
given.
know. He's like, well, if he doesn't want to be here, we're gonna have to trade him. It's like, yeah, we get it, dude. Stop.
I hope he's golfing because when I called him, he
He
didn't answer.
answer.
Well, that's
Ah,
why'd you say that? Why'd you feel the need to say that right now? I feel like that's oversharing 101. Like next he's just gonna sit down and be like, my hemorrhoids have cleared up.
I hate it here.
What
hate
are
it
we
here.
doing?
I hate it here. I was kind of hoping for Mike Sullivan. I knew it was a pipe dream because he didn't want to come out west. He signs with the New York Rangers. That's the other piece of news.
That checks. That was quick work.
It was quick work and it was good work. You mark my words, the New York Rangers are going to be a 100-point team and firmly in the playoffs next year.
Yep, the bounce back is real.
I
And
like
that's coming from a Devils fan. But
I like Mike Sullivan enough. He's not like my favorite coach of all time or anything like that, but I like the fella. And I really like real deal think Peter Laviolette was like a top 3 worst coach in the NHL this year. So yeah, that's my biggest fear actually is that the Canucks hire either Laviolette, whoever what's oh my god, what's his name right now? The Anaheim coach that just got fired as well.
oh,
It's escaping me right now.
Cronin.
Cronin, yep. Or Quenneville. Please, none of them.
yeah.
It looks like Quenneville, however, may be the next head coach of the Anaheim Ducks. We talked about that last week.
Yeah. I hate that. I don't want to talk about that again.
No, until something happens. there, we don't need
Shout
to.
out Mike Sullivan though, and
Yeah,
honestly,
shout out to Mike Sullivan.
shout out the Rangers getting it done quickly. You've had so much noise lately. You
Mhm.
just need to get things done quickly, get a firm base set up, and start rolling.
Yeah, they did what the Canucks needed to do.
And beyond that, I'm sure we could go into this more in depth, like in a season preview
Yeah,
for next season.
Yeah.
But just
maybe an off-season thing even.
I just have like an inkling, like a vibe in my mind, like a brainworm that's just telling me that this New York team is built very similar to some of the Pittsburgh teams that Sullivan had some really quality success with.
Intriguing.
We can go into that later. We can do a full
We
roster
should.
breakdown.
We should.
I don't have any numbers, stats,
Sure, yeah,
names,
yeah.
so don't come after me in the comments.
No.
I deal with y'all enough sometimes.
Yeah.
But
I like it. I like it.
I want to look into that because I just feel like those two things are more like each other than they would seem
Yeah.
at first.
Okay, I'm sad now. We should get out of here. I'm so excited for playoff hockey.
Yeah. Round 2 is going to be a blast.
Can't wait.
A movie, an absolute treat.
Yeah.
What's your series to watch, Jay? What are you picking?
I'm honestly so excited for all of them.
Yeah.
Tell you the truth, I'm the least excited for the Leafs and Panthers.
Really?
I just I don't know.
It's a stinky series. I get it.
I don't like listening to the Leafs commentators.
Yeah, nor do I all that much.
I just don't like listening to Leafs
Like,
podcasters.
They're not even like super biased. I don't like hearing them.
That's understandable.
I hate the Oilers commentator too.
The worst.
Just chill the fuck out, dude.
I know.
Chill the fuck out.
At least he's not Ken Danico.
Ken Danico.
Who's that?
The Devil's legend turned
commentator. That
commentator.
guy, he sounds like he got a concussion this morning, every morning.
Yeah. And the way, the shit he says also confirms that too.
Yeah,
It just makes
exactly,
you think it
exactly.
further. Like, you'll watch like a blatant trip and be like, "Oh, I don't know about that. The way that the refs have been calling this game, it just feels a little lopsided."
That is how he sounds. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah. It's
No, the
bad.
Oilers commentator he's too much. When he does the yodel thing, y'all heard that?
No.
I don't know.
He
No.
does like a Yamamoto. He was doing a Yamamoto thing where he's
Uh.
like, Yamamoto. I was like, bro, you're going to have to stop now.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Don't ever let me hear that. I don't want to hear that. That sounds horrible.
I think the one I'm looking forward to most is Vegas Edmonton. like I said earlier, like just any series that has the Edmonton Oilers in it is just guaranteed to be crazy.
Valid. I'm actually going to take the Toronto, Florida one. I just
Yeah.
think that's going to be chippy.
Yeah.
And I think the Leafs are going to get spanked around, and it's going to be fun to watch.
Indeed.
And a quick shout out before we go.
Yeah.
If you want to be included in the shout out, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the little red button up there or down there, depending on what platform you're consuming this on.
Indeed.
A quick shout out to Joanna Miller. Thank you for interacting and giving all of your likes, comments, staying in tune with the pod. You're tuning in all the time. We really appreciate you.
We appreciate it. She actually, Johanna, I know Johanna. She sent me a photograph of her out and about in the Gretzky t-shirt.
Wonderful.
Wonderful.
I love
Indeed.
that. I
Yeah.
love that.
Shout
That's-
out to you, Johanna. Appreciate it.
That's amazing. If you want to be featured on our story, please just shoot us a DM, and we will happily post that pic.
100%.
And that goes for anyone else. If you guys are enjoying your Stick Talk merch, feel free to send us some pics of you out and about wearing your merch. We love to see it, and it's just awesome.
100%. 100%. So yeah, we'll see you all next week. Thank you all so very much. As always, I'm your host Tico. This is my co-host.
I'm yours truly.
Over there we got our producer.
Producer Jet.
Keep your dang head up.
Stick
Keep
talk.
your head up.
Boom.
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 Stick talk. Stick talk. Stick talk. Stick talk. Stick talk.